Are you hot coffee?
I'm a hot coffee guy.
Yeah.
I mean, hot weather, cold weather, any weather. I don't know. I like it hot.
Yeah.
Hot, yeah, I get mixed.
Some like it hot.
Wow. Great.
That
Close.
is a
R.I.P.
movie.
R.I.P. It was Broadway show, just closed.
Oh, it just closed. But it's based,
Yeah.
it's a movie.
Yeah.
Some Like It Hot?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that a
Movie.
is that like a
movie
famous
turned
movie?
Broadway musical. Yeah. With Jack Lemmon,
Jack
right?
Lemmon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're fucking with me, right?
I'm not an old movie buff.
Oh.
I remember watching it when I was like an
a
actor. I was like, let me
young-
watch the classics.
Yeah.
All right.
And I was like, it's fine.
Yeah. Who's the other person? Is it Shirley MacLaine?
I don't know.
Shirley MacLaine.
You gotta be
Jack
fucking with
Lemmon.
me.
You gotta be fucking with me.
gotta be fucking with me.
You went to like acting school and stuff. I don't know.
That's not, I wish I just went to film school so I just watched all the movies.
Yeah.
That would have been a better investment, film school, than acting school.
Yeah. I tried when I was younger to do like, when AFI first put out that list in the 90s.
Of course.
Tried to do like, I tried to get to a lot of them, but sometimes you get to some and you're like, I just can't get through this one movie,
Citizen Kane was always number one.
I've never seen
Right.
Citizen Kane. I was like, in my life,
Yeah.
I'm always like, I'm saving it, but I don't know when. I'm going to die before I see it. I mean, I have not seen it yet.
Have you seen The Godfather?
Oh, yeah, many times.
Godfather's one. My girlfriend hasn't seen The Godfather.
Oh, okay.
And that's one of those where I
That's
feel
like
that,
a
like, come on. You got
stereotypical like man versus woman thing. Like men like it and women.
She's
maybe
like, have
not
you
as
seen
much.
Eat, Pray, Love? I'm like, no, bitch, I don't watch that shit.
Yeah.
Um,
Do you know what movie I was my favorite movie growing up that, like, I think during COVID or a few years ago, I was like, oh, I haven't watched this movie since I was a kid. And I watched it and I wept for humanity. It was E.T.
E.T.?
Felt like I watched that movie so much when I was a kid. It was the strangest experience watching it, where the whole time watching it as an adult, like I felt like I was like time traveling back to being a little kid. Like I was like, this whole movie, it was just like, Elliot is so kind and sensitive, and it's just like, oh, sensitive people aren't meant for this world. It just was like, I don't
That's
know.
who you identified with?
I don't know. Something about it was
You know who I identified
very-
with? The government official who
They're
said,
like,
we need to take care of this
"Get
shit.
that fucking
this could
weird
have
thing."
COVID whatever in it.
Yeah.
We need to kill it.
Oh God,
E.T. goes 6 feet under the ground. Well, welcome to The Downside. This is a old movie review podcast where we recollect movies from the 80s and 90s.
Director Steven Spielberg.
This is a place where we can be negative, we can complain. I realize sometimes we have to like make a little intro for people who just tuning in now, who are big fans of our guest.
Yeah.
And then they just tune in now. They have no idea what's going on. My name's Gianmarco Soresi. This is
Yes.
my old friend, Russell Daniels. Not that old.
Not that old.
Like old, when
Barely
I hear
know
old,
you.
it means like high school.
Oh yeah, I mean,
we're like-
2015.
We're adult friends. We've been friends in our
adult
adulthood.
friends for now.
Yeah.
Yeah, good end.
It could.
I would be a darn shame if it did.
Yeah, it would. Yeah,
It would
good.
be
Glad
hard
we're on
for
the same
me-
page on
it'd be
that.
Hard for me to imagine not being your friend.
I think the fear that I have is you move. How if you move to New Orleans?
I would move full time.
Oh, good. Okay, good. Do you notice anything different about me?
Some friend you turned out to be.
Wow.
Did you get a piercing? What?
I talked about it on the last podcast. I thought it'd be a fun little Easter egg.
What?
I painted one of my nails.
Oh my God! I just saw it. And there was like a jump scare.
It's horrifying. So I just thought it'd be fun. We talked. So Paige was our other producer was here,
God.
and she talked about how she put it in the full Gen Z way phrasing. She said
Yeah.
being female identifying publicly meant that you could change your outfit.
Yeah.
And I was like, I've always wanted to do one nail, and everyone went ugh. And I said,
Yeah.
what's this toxic masculinity?
We'll do all nails.
So I did one nail, and it's it's impossible. It's on my finger.
It looks like you
It's
hit
all
your-
over my other
It
hand.
looks like you hit your hand with a hammer. It
Well,
looks
that's-
like it's
well,
gonna
that's the
fall
problem.
off. It's a black nail. You fucking
I went through
weirdo.
a goth phase in high school, and I liked black nails. But I realized when I was going to do one, I was like, well, then it looks like you just hurt yourself. So I got the sparkly kind. And it was dirt cheap. It was
How long are
dirt
you keeping
cheap.
that on?
I
You gonna do shows like that?
it's tough to go to the Comedy Cellar.
Exactly.
Tough. Like being around comics keeps my femininity in a little bit of check.
Yeah, and also you have to mention it right off the top.
I know.
You know, You can't just do that without.
I got to come up with a bit.
I mean, it would have been fine if when you were getting it, you were coming up, rising in the ranks of comedy. You always were one nail boy, but you can't just start it without talking about it a little bit more. Coming out as a one nail.
This should be like one of the letters in the LGBTQIA2 plus one. When I first started stand up, very embarrassingly, I wore a scarf.
Oh.
I wore a scarf and I would take it off, put it on the mic stand.
Oh, wow.
And you were there for all of this.
I don't remember.
You didn't stop me. And it was bad. And my sister explained to me, because she works in fashion, she explained to me, this is what convinced me to stop wearing it. Because I would wear it with T-shirts. And she explained to me, functionally, it feels wrong. Because you wear a T-shirt when it's warm. It's warm.
Yeah.
A scarf when it's cold. And that's what changed my mind. And I hung up the scarf for good.
Yeah. I don't remember that phase.
Once a host said they mocked me for the scarf. And then when he was a comic, I was the host. And then when I came up after him, something.
Next up, we got Meryl Streep. Like, isn't she Scarf Lady?
No, what a kind roast. Next up, one of the greatest actors of all time. No, he said something about gay, and then I went up. I said he's just mad because he could never afford something as nice as this to hang himself.
Got
with.
him.
Oh, wow. You
Got him.
ramped it up.
Suicidal.
Oh my God.
Poor suicidal man.
We're here with our guest, Sridhar Ramesh.
That's acceptable. That's
Great.
acceptable.
Thank you.
It is Sridhar Ramesh.
But you.
Actually, I mispronounced it just then too, because Sridhar Ramesh.
Okay, well now it's
very easy to screw up.
There was a thing. It was on Ellen where Hassan Minhaj went on,
Right.
and I think Ellen said Hassan Minhaj,
Right.
and he called her out right there.
But I also don't actually care. It's only because
I have an Italian name. I'm sure.
Is it the same spelling as Nicki Minaj?
no.
Did you just make Nicki Minaj Indian? Nicki Minaj?
Do they spell?
No, it's not spelled the same.
It's differently.
He
Okay.
has an H in it, which is how.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You just start pronouncing every name.
Oh no.
Nikki could be like Nikki Haley. That's an Indian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was her birth name that Trump
It's
keeps going on?
Nimritha, I think.
Yeah.
Nimritha. I don't remember her maiden name, but yeah.
Wait. So did you change your name at all? Because on your Twitter, what is it on Twitter?
It's normally Sridhar Ramesh. Right now, I have it as Riverboat.
No, but it also says it has a D. Is the D a th?
It's a DH, but yeah, the D is a the. Actually, that's not what the H in it means. So the D is the. That's just like I don't know how South Indians pronounce their Ds. I guess they're dentalized, and then
Do your South Indian impression.
No.
if you really have a distinctely South Indian versus North Indian impression, I will be so impressed.
assure you, I don't have any.
I think impressions. Recently, I've seen. There's a while where it was like if you were white, there was no. Don't do any other race impression. I feel like I've seen more and more. I'm like, oh, the temperature might be changing on this.
I'm glad if the temperature is changing. I
What are
mean,
you seeing?
I saw.
What are you
it was
looking up?
It was like Matt Friend.
okay.
He does a lot of impressions, and he was doing like a montage, and it was just like 3 black politicians
It's
in a row.
pronounced montage.
This is the downside.
1, 2, 3. Downside. You're listening to The Downside.
The Downside.
With Gianmarco Soresi.
So welcome to the downside. I started an intro and immediately abandoned it. My name's Gianmarco. This is my friend slash co-worker slash former member of shows together, Russell Daniels. This is coming out after his Broadway show closed.
Yeah.
He performed it 4 times after Josh fell off that ladder with 3 days left in the run to go.
Wow.
Putting it out in the atmosphere.
Wow.
Get you back up there,
Thanks,
buddy. He's on Broadway, understudying Broadway.
Understudying
soon-
all of Broadway.
You're a swing, a full swing. My name's Gianmarco Soresi. This is a place where we can complain, where we have people on where they don't need to brag or be thankful. They can just be mean and sad and depressed and hopefully funny. And that's why. Speaking of, This next guy, rarely I have people on that I've never met before, but I've been such a fan of your work. And I thought you did stand-up, and I was like, eventually our paths will cross. I know you have done stand-up
in the
past and maybe the future, but you have many talents. Sridhar Ramesh.
Thank you for having me.
Every time I try a new swing. Fantastic comedian, mathematician, or logician. Logician.
Impressed that you draw that distinction, but yes, that's correct.
Sure. I did my research as best as I could. But we're happy to have you here. I know Russell's in a good mood because today would have been the anniversary of Roe v. Wade, but you got what you wanted, and it's no longer. People were.
It was so thoroughly canceled that it's not even the anniversary of Roe v. Wade anymore.
It was a strange, but they have. When I say they, the DNC, which is desperate to stop what feels like a movable force, are bringing it up today to say this would have been the day.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. 51st.
Wow.
That's a precedent.
51st.
Is it the 51st anniversary? Huh.
I think so.
I would have thought I would have heard more about I believe you. I would have thought I'd have heard more about the 50th anniversary.
You only follow far right.
Yeah.
Far right. Yeah. So deep left. The horseshoe, it comes back around. We're recording this a little bit early is what I'm saying. This calendar is up to date. I'm working this calendar behind Russell's shoulder. It does say January 15th. We're recording this now because I am currently on the West Coast doing shows.
Yeah.
And so we shouldn't get too topical.
January 22nd.
Is it?
Yeah. You thought it was
Wait, it is January 22nd.
That was January 15th.
All right, the calendar is a week off. No, I just...
Oh, my God.
In my head, you were doing some correction for when this is airing, but
Not only is it airing in the future, we're recording in the past.
Yeah.
We're doing a full Inception style. Lots going on. Let's see. Anything happened to me? I was in Florida. Deborah Messing followed our Downside account. We don't know why.
We don't know why.
Deborah Messing.
she's the really Zionist one, right? Am I?
Yes, I think she prefers Will and Grace as her credit, but
We don't know how she found us.
if she doesn't have,
This one's for you, Deb.
we've been speaking our views on the whole situation.
Yeah.
That's kind of, I'm pro-Palestine, he's pro-Israel. Odd couple.
Stop. No.
No, but it's so we've been saying some things, but not like, I don't know if we've talked about Deborah. For her to follow us, it doesn't make any sense.
We have not. This is the first time we're saying her name, I think, on the podcast.
You can cut out my saying anything about.
No. This is not for.
No.
This is,
Did
we're
you
not.
just abandon your political
not-
views for the favor of my podcast?
for Deborah messing anything.
We're not becoming. We're not treating it like
Deborah
the
Messing
podcast
likes us,
now.
and we change
It's
all
just
our
for
political
Deborah
beliefs.
Messing.
Yeah.
We changed them all. We're like, we gotta hold on.
I
to
am
this.
just curious what clip she saw to follow us.
And she doesn't. She's not one of these accounts like I think Obama follows me because he follows 200,000.
Oh, okay.
One of those.
Okay.
But Deborah's only following like 4,000 people on Instagram, which is not that much. So I don't know why.
Yeah.
It can't be good.
No, I think she's keeping an eye on us.
I think she heard I was going to be on the podcast.
Maybe. Is it true that you got that? Because I was wearing a sweater. I heard this on another podcast about it was the Miami Boys Choir, which
Okay.
my girlfriend likes a lot. And weren't you the one who got? You said you got in some kind of flack because they're a Jewish young boy group.
Oh, they're the Orthodox Jewish boys?
I
Is that what
believe
they are?
so. I believe Orthodox. Yeah.
Yeah, or like more specifically Hasidic or something. I forget. But yes, I made a tweet once about this group and I got in a lot of trouble.
What did you say?
It was around the time of this New York Times article had come out about the yeshivas in the Hasidic community here in New York, where they had really bad scores in math and English. And it was there was a Rolling Stones tweet that I was responding to. Not Rolling Stones, what am I saying? The Rolling Stone magazine.
Sure.
And they had said something like, you might not think that a group of young Orthodox Jewish boys could sing, but check out the Miami school, whatever, boys.
I love that thought.
Why would he phrase it like that?
You see a group of young Orthodox Jews, you're like, Bet
You
they
might
can't sing.
Bet they can't sing.
Actually, no, I'm being a little bit. I'm misremembering. You might not think they could capture the hearts of TikTok with their singing. Or
Oh,
something.
okay.
That's even more specific though. Like, hey,
yeah.
you see those boys over there?
Yeah.
Bet
Yeah.
you they could never capture the heart of TikTok through
They
song.
won't go viral on TikTok.
Anyway, so I quote tweeted it and I said, I have no problem thinking they could do that. What I don't think they could do is read or math. So read or do math. And so, as you can imagine, a number of people were unhappy with it. A number of people liked it, but a number of people were unhappy with it. And like the head of one of the yeshivas like was quote tweeting me and accusing me of being a force for anti-Semitism, and I don't know, it got in trouble.
The Jews, we got to have a meeting, all of us together. We got to really come up with some hard lines of what qualifies as anti-Semitism and what qualifies as meaningful critique.
Yeah.
It's out of control.
I mean,
I've never seen, you know, when you see, as like a white person, when the race card, you feel like it might be being played in general.
right.
I go, well, you get to play the race card. we played it for the first 2,000 years to sure. And then once in a while, it's very on the nose and someone calls it out. But it's one of these rare things where as a Jew,
Yes.
I can be like, guys, come on.
I mean, they actually did have poor scores. Like, I'm not making this up.
And we run the scoring system. So that's even worse. You have been around lots of Jews, though. You grew up in New Jersey?
That is correct, yes.
Yes. Good. This is like a game show. I take guesses and you give me points based on how accurate my research was.
No, it's true. When I was growing up, like, I know Elon Musk just said something like 2/3 of his friends are Jews. But it's true that when I was growing up, like 2/3 of my friends were Jews.
And you're a mathematician, so you calculated it.
That's
as
right.
You went.
I had 3 friends and 2 of them were Jews.
And you made a new friend. You had to kick one of the Jews out.
Yeah, I had to maintain a very strict ratio. Exactly.
So where in New Jersey? Because I don't know New Jersey that well.
I'm wondering if your producer told you what my This Has Got to Stop.
Oh
was
no,
gonna be.
no, they
Oh,
haven't.
no,
They
no.
haven't.
Literally, my This Is Gonna Stop was every time I tell people I'm from New Jersey, they want to know where in New Jersey I'm
Bing,
from.
bing, bing, bing. Maybe that's a new version of the show. When
Ding,
in
ding,
my
ding, ding,
questions
ding.
do I hit that this has got to stop?
I had backup. This Has Got to Stop. So I
Good,
could
good,
use
good.
that.
Let's
Yeah.
explore that one.
But
It's just a matter of polite conversation.
no, it is. But it's also I explained in great detail what happens. So I'll tell you. I'm from Union County.
Uh-huh.
And I'm from a city in Union County called New Providence. But every time, like I tell people I'm from New Jersey, they always want to know, and then I go through this long thing, and then I've preempted it now, so it won't happen. But it'll be like they don't know anything about the place I just mentioned.
Yeah.
It's a waste of time.
Yeah.
And then they'll tell me about some city in New Jersey that they've been to, or one of their family members is from, or something.
Sure.
And I won't know anything about that fucking place. And so we just waste, like 10 minutes talking about New Jersey and not connecting. And why did they even think they would know anything about the place in New Jersey I'm
Sure.
from if they're
Because
not?
I've never been there, but I have been to
Exactly.
Hoboken.
Yeah.
And I've done a lot of shows in Hoboken.
Yeah.
And do you know Hoboken well?
I do happen to know Hoboken.
Do you not see that I'm doing exactly what you said?
I know. I'm letting it slide.
No. Tell me about that part of New Jersey. I'll go deeper.
About New Providence? Okay.
New Providence.
Oh, Meryl Streep came up. She is from the city right next to me, Summit, New
Wow.
Jersey.
That's sad. You got a list
this-
of celebs from the city
Yeah.
next door.
Is it's near the Jersey Shore at all, or no?
Not really, no.
No.
Jersey Shore is more south. Yeah. So again, you're mentioning a place in New Jersey that has nothing to do with where I'm from.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
So tell me about it though. What was it like? What kind of?
it's like suburban. I don't know. How do you describe it? I imagine a lot of suburban America is the same, but my only experience of it is New Jersey.
Do they have a specific type of thing that they're known for? Like a lot of people who do this work here or live here.
A lot of people who become Meryl Streep.
Okay.
Jim Cramer is also from that same city, right? Do you know Jim Cramer, Mad Money? He's
Yeah,
from
yeah.
Summit, New
He's always-
Jersey. Also, I think he lives there now in Summit, New Jersey.
How does he still have a job?
Yeah, I don't know. He's incorrect
he
about
not big
everything.
deal?
Idiot.
Well, I'm
All
sure he's been correct on like some stuff.
Okay, sure. I guess I
But
should.
like the people he's incorrect about, I'm surprised they haven't murdered him yet.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess once you reach a certain level of success, it's hard to lose your job.
Tova's getting into
Why is it
stocks.
called Mad Money?
Oh well, his whole shtick is exactly. He's like boiling over with
But it's
rage.
not like crazy. It's like he's mad. He's not.
Yeah, he's
You thought that's his whole
angry.
thing? It's like, don't trust
Mad
this guy. He's
scientist.
mad. Don't listen to what he says. Tova's
Get into stocks.
exploring it.
Buy, sell, trade.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
Wait, who's Tova?
Oh, sorry. My girlfriend.
Oh, I see.
manager.
And she's getting all her wisdom. Not listen. When I say from
From Jim
TikTok,
Cramer.
Right.
no, even better or worse or the same TikTok. And I feel like people would judge that, but Jim Cramer's probably just as.
Yeah.
But I think she's good, deeply at recognizing like where things are shifting.
Okay.
She's a comedy manager,
Right.
and I think she just has like a intuitive, can grasp bigger picture things, and so I think she's doing well.
Kind of really.
It makes me nervous that she's just gonna.
It's
Wait,
a little
how
like
long has she been doing this?
I think just like a month.
Oh, okay.
You doing the stocks?
No. I mean, I have stuff in like an index fund. I don't actively do anything.
I have it in the fucking. I think it's like the S&P 500, and every time I go on, it looks like it's just gone down.
Yeah.
And I go, I don't know this.
all my retirements.
Do you look at this like? Do you look at the stock market? You go, ow.
No, but I look at like my retirement thing, and it's like sometimes you're like, oh my
Where'd
god,
it
how's
go?
this going down?
Where'd all
I'm
that
not touching
Titanic
that,
money
you know.
go?
It's
No, I'm
crazy that the way we're expected to live in old age is to just hope that this gamble on the stock market is.
I know.
Why is that the system?
Yeah.
I just like my person just says, well, if you put it in this, it generally it goes up. It eventually it goes up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, forever? This doesn't seem like
It
how the world
doesn't-
works.
I don't know. Okay, so you're in math.
Right.
So explain it all to us because I don't understand how we've built a world around the stock market. It does seem
We're
real.
going to explain the stock market.
Well, listen, just not long. Just do it as quick as possible.
I like that you think as a mathematician I know the historical factors.
I just don't understand why we built our civilization around it, and it's something so meaningless. And
that's a huge question. That's a course in college.
I don't know. I just wanted to give you the easy version, something like along,
No, but I agree with you. It's crazy. I don't have any more insight into it than you do.
Okay.
It's like the people with money designed the world to suit their,
yeah,
desires.
it's not good. There's no way it's like we made this
Yeah,
because it helps spread the wealth.
yeah.
Okay, let's get into the math.
All right.
Okay, so you're very smart. You're smarter than both of us.
Whoa, you watch your tongue.
Yeah, exactly. This guy
Just has
knows.
to explain the stock market to me.
This guy knows so much about old movies. He knows Meryl Streep.
Yeah, Jack
and-
Lemmon.
Yeah.
Were you always? You are for math. I sometimes I'm like, are you good at math? Are you a genius? Do you consider yourself a genius?
I don't consider anybody a genius. I mean,
Come on, don't be modest. You know
don't
you're
be modest about humanity.
You know you're smart. How would you describe your intelligence?
I would say I am good at math. Yes, I am good at math.
You were always good at math.
From an early age. Yeah.
And you like it.
I like it. Yeah. It would be. Wouldn't that be awful if you were? I guess it's what Goodwill Hunting or something. Is about.
Yeah.
Like you were a great mathematician and you did not care about it. But you were just forced into it.
When you do you remember the moment? Was it in kindergarten?
No, I do remember. Actually, yeah, I do remember. Well, there's a couple things. You're about to ask me how I became interested in math or something, right? That's the question.
Yeah, I'm also curious because this is the downside. What it's like to be really intelligent at something, going
Right.
through school.
Sure.
What did you skip?
Right.
Yeah, I want to get into that meat. We don't need to talk about your love of numbers,
Okay.
you know. But yeah,
So wait, exactly what's the question again?
when did you first realize that you were smarter than many of your peers?
Oh, okay. Well, it started off as kind of a false reputation that I had, which is that in first grade, I never liked, my whole life, I never liked doing work. Like people think, oh, if you're good at math, you like school, you like are a person who wants to do work like that. But no, I never liked it. But my first grade teacher, she would always like give us these assignments that I just wouldn't do. And then all the other kids would go off to recess, and then she would say, I can't go to recess. When all the other kids go to recess, I had to stay and like do the work that I was supposed to do all morning, like coloring in a fucking monkey or something. And but then what would end up happening is she would actually just give me this lecture and then say, you got to take it home as homework. And then I would go join the other kids at recess like 10 minutes later. So I was the only kid in first grade with homework, but these other kids.
Wait, so when during class you just wouldn't do it?
Yeah.
You just sit there.
Well, no, it would be like I would do other fucking stuff. Like, I would draw my own drawings or something. But the teacher would be like, you got to fill in this, you got to color in this monkey and you got to do it the right way, the mechanical coloring way. I don't know why they care in first grade about some skill like that.
Or it's just to house train people, essentially.
Yeah.
How to start listening to the man. So when they need you to go to
Yeah.
war someday,
Yes,
you
sir.
obey.
Yeah.
First you're coloring the monkey.
Yeah.
Next you're fucking
And you-
flying out to the Middle East.
Yeah, exactly. But what would happen is I would join all the other kids at recess, 15 minutes later or whatever it is, and they would think this kid is so smart that in 15 minutes he did what took us all morning to do.
I see.
So I got this reputation as smart early on that was based on nothing, but I liked that reputation. And then I remember the first time that I actually was good at math. It was like my mom had happened to show me randomly this thing about you add multiple digit numbers the same way you add one digit numbers, but you kind of group it over or something. I don't know. You know how to add multiple digit numbers. You all know how to do this.
Oh, wait, no, my anxiety's high as I listen. I'm like, yes, I do. Yes, I do. I'm doing it right now. Huh?
But, the other kids in first grade didn't know this yet. And I remember one time the teacher had given us like a challenge problem about doing this. And I came up to the board and I did it. And the other kids were like, yeah, the smart kid is smart. And I was like, oh, this is how I can actually have the thing that I already have the reputation for, is if I just lean into learning math, maybe. So I was
Did
interested.
it seem like they liked you because of that? They're like, well, we'll hang out. We want to go play dates with this kid.
No, not exactly, but it's like a kind of respect or something. But no, I don't think they were like, let's bring him to our party and have him add multiple digit numbers. But
There's a bit of credibility. There's a bit of I remember thinking the people that really were smart. You're like, oh,
We had-
they're good. You don't want to ostracize them. You want to
But they're ostracized automatically. Like we had two. I remember this guy named Alan. I'll remember his last name because I feel like you'd know him now. Like he and one other guy, they made a more advanced math class for them, and I was like in honors, and they were like in honors too. And it was just the two of them. And Alan also, his head was bigger, and it made you part of the myth. And maybe he just had a big forehead. This is no offense to him.
logistics, a really bigger.
Yeah, but you truly, part of you felt like his brain is literally
is
larger
bigger.
than mine.
Yeah.
And he is something very. He publishes papers that I cannot comprehend.
Yeah. I was always I was always in the honors math, but the dumbest one.
they
in
have
honors
levels
math.
of honors math where there's like a dumbest one.
No, I knew that I struggled. It was I worked so
Oh,
hard.
you were the dumbest one
In
the
class.
Yeah.
You see.
You
No,
thought they
no,
had
that was
honors
that was
dumb.
honors
He
dumb.
was saying, yeah,
honors average, honors actually you're good.
Right.
No,
No, non-honors was.
I was
dumb.
I would always be like, why are they keep moving me? Let me be with the normal people.
But somebody has to be at the bottom of the honors class.
Oh, I hated it though, and I was always so like I just didn't. Something about me is not that.
Right.
I'm really good at simple math. Really fast at adding and subtracting. Could do it really fast.
Okay.
34 plus 68.
Okay, that is 102.
102.
Oh,
Ah,
you almost beat
ah. Okay. Oh, sorry. This is awful.
I'm
podcasting.
stressed.
Give us-
I can't do
give
it
us
like
one
that.
more. Give us one more.
him. 17 plus 82.
99.
99.
Yeah, that's an easy one. I don't know. I just made
All
up.
right. All right.
Okay, but I can do that quickly. I can, that kind of thing, which is how I use it in life. When you're doing bills and things. But I think I was always so stressed in math class because I really struggled and I was not good at it. In second grade, my second grade teacher in a parent teacher conference told my parents, Russell will never be good at math.
What an odd thing to
second
say.
grade.
In second grade,
Well, we
yeah.
found out later she was boozing and taking pills during at school, but
Oh, wow.
but she said that, and I remember
How do your parents react?
they were not happy. But
just
then
an-
also she was kind of a prophet. I did struggle with it. Like it was not. I was
don't
not.
know,
easy.
but you were in honors math. Even if you're the dumbest one in the class, you're still better.
I
than all
don't
the
know.
people
I don't know.
not
Maybe
in.
she was on something.
Do you think the same way you said your legacy, you fulfilled the rumors?
Maybe
Yeah,
maybe that
exactly.
was.
Fulfilled.
They gave you this expectation that
Also,
you.
yeah, I don't know why my parents told me that she said that, but
Well,
Maybe she didn't even say it, and your parents just told you this.
to motivate you.
she said it. I believe she said it.
Well, there was also, I think there is like an old Malcolm Gladwell type thing where like there was parents and they named one kid winner and they named one kid loser.
That is an
And loser
odd way
and
to.
loser ended up having a more successful life by whatever metrics you measure that.
Hmm.
So
What?
this all it probably doesn't matter at all.
Yeah.
It's a boy named Sue kind of thing. Like,
What is that?
or you've never heard of the poem "A Boy Named Sue"? It was made into a Johnny Cash song. A boy is given this girl's name Sue, and everybody makes fun of him his whole life, but it makes him hard, and he.
Tougher.
Yeah. You've never heard of this?
No.
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 Shel Silverstein, I think, right? He wrote it. Yeah.
Is that short? That's a beautiful story.
Yeah.
Never heard of it.
All right, fine. Well,
Sorry.
yeah.
I feel so you did this math presentation, you did this math thing on the board, and you're like,
Yeah.
I'm a little good at this.
I'm a little good at this. People give me a little respect. And then it was like, all right, I guess that feels nice. But also I had some intrinsic interest in it. It's not completely just because people, gave me accolades that I enjoyed math. But yeah, that's like my first experience of feeling like, oh, I'm better than other people at math. But what was the question again?
Like, okay, so I'm tracing your trajectory of like how you became basically separate from the regular stream of what class is. And also,
Yeah.
of course, you enjoy the things you're good at.
Yeah,
It'd be
exactly. You
funny
enjoy
if
the
you loved
things you're
math
good
and you
at.
were awful at it. You were just working on the tip for hours, like, but you're like, I'm having fun.
That would be great. I would be so pleased to meet someone who really liked math, even though they were no good at it.
Like,
That
did
would
you
be-
like doing proofs?
Yes. Well, that's the thing. That's what I was about to say. So, what people's idea of math is often is this dumb game we just played of like adding numbers or something, which is something a computer or calculator could do. It's not really interesting. It's not interesting to me even to sit around adding, numbers.
Okay, well, we'll
Oh,
cut it
most
out,
of
I
us-
guess. That's fine. We'll just
It's how most humans relate to math. Most of us live our lives.
here's how we as actors relate to math,
Yeah.
and it's because of one reason only.
Yeah.
Yeah.
10%. 10%.
What is that?
For,
Oh, you mean agents managers? Oh, because there's one play that really infiltrated acting schools everywhere. and it's like,
oh,
proof.
oh.
Proof.
Oh,
Yeah,
proof.
okay.
And so like that's the most I know about math comes from doing that scene. It's me taking a notebook out of a backpack in acting class being like, you gotta publish this proof.
Ah, okay. I
Yeah.
Me
see.
trying to connect to that emotionally
I
somehow.
forgot about that play.
Proof.
Yeah.
Who started originally?
I don't know.
From Weeds.
Oh,
Mary
Louise
Louise
Parker.
Yeah.
It was one of her big breaks.
Oh, I didn't
It's
know
a
that.
beautiful play.
Who wrote it?
Shel Silverstein.
But what I was about to say is you asked if I was interested in proofs, and yeah, so I had this other early experience, which was also, I think, in first grade, which is at school, they'll have you like do these drills, right? They'll give you like 50 problems at a time of this boring mechanical rote, like arithmetic. But I remember there was this pattern that we were supposed to pick up on, but they never explained it in school. They just had us do these drills, which is that, for example, like if you do 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3, let's say 5, times you add up 3, that's the same as 5
15.
plus 5 plus 5. It's 3 times add up 5, 5 times add up 3. That's the same. We're all familiar with this fact, but I remember like we would do these drills and we were expected to pick up on this pattern, but I was curious, well, why does this pattern hold? It's not just handed down from God on tablets. Like there's a reason for something like that. And I remember I asked.
According to the Miami Boys Choir, it was in fact handed down. by
Yeah,
them, just so you know.
exactly. You can see where their math scores come from. But I remember I asked my mom, why does this thing hold? And she just showed me, like, she was like, oh, well, you can imagine a rectangle, and you can count the rectangle by counting the rows, or you can count the rectangle by counting the columns. So if you have a 3x5 rectangle, you count it one way, 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3. You count it the other way, 5 plus 5 plus 5. And this would work for any numbers. And then that just really opened up my mind, like, oh, wow, that's such an interesting thing to see the reasoning behind something, and that you can search for reasoning behind all other kinds of stuff in math, which they never really showed us at school. I mean, I'm sure there's some schools where they explain that particular fact, but like most of math class at school is just kind of rote algorithm stuff. Like they teach you to go through some unthinking computational steps. None of that was ever interesting to me, but I began to see that there's other math outside of school, which is about just understanding the way things work. And that really opened up my interest in it.
What age was this?
Like I said, I think I was 6.
Sick. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay, can I say something? This is like I got almost a fight with my dad. I was very young, and I learned about is it called Googleplex?
Sure, that's a number. Yeah.
And what does that number mean?
I think a Googleplex is 10 to the 10 to the 100.
Doesn't it also mean? I thought it also had like a noun. Maybe I'm totally wrong about this fact I was about to bring up. I thought it also meant like essentially. I don't even want to say. I'm so embarrassed. I'm going to Google it.
No,
You
no,
have to
no.
be a
Just
sex
say it.
act or something?
Just say it.
No, I thought there was a thing
Just
about.
say what you think. Do not look it
Yeah,
up.
please tell us.
I
Please
say
tell us.
what you
I
think.
thought there was a way that it meant like a plethora. It was like it meant a lot essentially.
Do you not think
Googleplex.
10 to the 10 to
That's a
100
lot.
is a
No,
lot?
I know that's a lot, but it meant like
It's a Googleplex.
Yeah.
a Googleplex. It's located between where? No, that's wrong. That's Googleplex. How dare they take that?
Oh, yeah,
name?
yeah. They took the name for the building that, yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
You can't take X.
Well, they took the name of the company also. Google was also a number 10 to the 100, and they took the whole name of their company from that number.
I guess I was wrong.
Well, I
Oh,
know-
no. Here's what it was. Okay.
Okay.
It was related to this. Nail polish all over me. So, infinity.
Okay.
Let's see if this is. Infinity is, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a number. It's a concept.
Well, no, this is a thing that annoys me. A lot of people will be like, infinity is not a number, it's a concept. Even a lot of mathematicians will say stuff. Even a lot of mathematicians
Even a lot of geniuses
Yeah.
saying what I'm saying.
will say stuff like that. But it's a meaningless distinction to draw. Numbers are concepts. Like, you could call infinity a number. You could work with it arithmetically in various contexts. It's not like -5 is not a concept. It's not like 3 is not a concept. They're all just ways to describe certain logical structures you could have.
So what I said to my father is I said, he would say, infinity is not a number. It just means forever.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, but if there's an infinite number of numbers, you'd have to give an infinite number of names to those numbers. And
Sure.
at some point, one of the names would in fact have to be infinity. Because at a certain, and my father, you understand what I'm saying?
I think I do.
And do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And my father was like, no, it's not a number. And I said, I hear what you're saying.
Well,
And I remember I was at that age where, and again, maybe I'm full of shit, but I felt like my father, that's when I said, I'm smarter than my father. I can conceptualize something that my father cannot conceptualize.
I think you're correct here. I think your father's wrong.
So, okay.
One more on the tally board.
Got him.
Got him again. So did you skip any grades?
I never skipped a grade, but I skipped a lot of math classes, right? I mean, skipping a grade would be like if I was somehow a genius at every subject, I guess.
You have to be really?
No, it's not really. It's not like you're a genius to skip a grade. But I'm just saying, being good at math isn't going to mean you get to skip everything, right? It just means you should skip math classes.
Sometimes there's people that they're like, what's that one guy? Me Too guy.
That one Me Too guy.
No, the
Me
one that
Too guy.
like from New York Times. Pharaoh, or not New York Times. Pharaoh. What's his name?
Farrell, what?
Pharaoh. Last name.
Ronan Farrow.
Ronan Farrow.
Oh,
Ronan Farrow.
I completely misinterpreted Me Too guy.
Me Too. Like he I think he like graduated from Harvard when he was like
Yes.
16, and you're like, why do that's stupid? Do you know what I mean? Like when they're like, they went to college when they were 12. That is so dumb.
You wish he had been held back so Harvey Weinstein could still be making
No.
movies today.
No, I just think it's dumb. You're like, part of the experience too is being of an age where you can go and live alone.
Yeah,
a lot.
exactly.
Like, not,
No, I
like,
agree.
it shouldn't-
It's just for one of
not
Woody
that-
Allen's kids
he's
to
not
not
that
have a regular
smart.
childhood
Yeah,
is
come on.
insane. He is, but he must be a genius.
He's fine.
You couldn't go to college when you're 12. You got to be a fucking.
I don't know if you're a
You're
celebrity.
good
it
at
probably
school. It
works.
does not always mean genius. Like
Yeah.
that you can.
Well, that's he
Accomplished
like jokes
school.
that maybe he's Frank Sinatra's son. I'm like, I don't know. I don't think this is Frankie's brain working. I think this is the Woody Allen genes.
Oh, so you think he's a genius?
Woody Allen?
Yeah.
He's at certain things. Genius at being bad.
You heard it here, folks.
He's a genius, a bad man. I don't support him at all. He's still around. I think he lives in New York.
He's definitely around. He's definitely alive.
He made a French movie recently.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, all his movies recently are set in Europe, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think he's probably more comfortable there.
Yeah.
I think like France is currently like having, many years later,
France likes
they're
it.
like going through their Me Too reckoning, but it's not quite.
No, they
it's
like
not
it
quite going the same way ours was. There's a little bit more leeway.
Yeah.
I think the president Macron spoke out in favor of this old actor who's
Well,
like a legend.
The President Macron, his wife is a teacher who like slept with him when he was a
15,
student
I
of hers or
believe.
something. Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
You didn't know that?
No.
Oh yeah, she was. Let's see what the age gap is.
It's big.
Let's see.
The space between.
When did President Macron meet his wife?
Just ask how old she is.
In 1993, at the age of 40,
And
she met the 15-year-old
Yeah.
Emmanuel
No.
Macron in
Yeah.
La Providence High School.
What? 25 years difference?
Yeah.
25 years,
How old is
40
he
and
now?
15.
Incidentally, we've
She
come
also
back.
got older too, though. So
No,
it's
I
like,
know. How old is he now?
See what's going on. We've come back to doing multiple digit subtraction here.
Yeah, we love it. We love it.
no, but that's why they're not quite operating on the same.
Oh my God, that's a scandal. I did not know that. Wow.
And his parents were really against it, and they
I
just
get it.
Yeah. Yeah, well, of course they were against it.
40.
But isn't it crazy that you're like telling your child, no, you cannot date your, decades older teacher. Then your child grows up and becomes president and is like, I'm going to do whatever the fuck I want.
God.
Yeah, that's very.
She's still alive.
Yeah.
How old is he?
Jesus Christ, we're doing a lot of
Sorry, I
trivia
just
He was
today.
15 in 1993. You
Oh.
tell us.
Okay,
Oh,
okay.
Yes.
Go.
Okay, so that's
quick.
30 years ago, so he's 45.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah.
She's 60.
Well,
I mean,
46,
like
46.
depending
when
on
he was born,
exactly,
depending on when he was
yeah,
born.
where in 1993.
So 45, that means
So 45, 46, she's 70.
she's 70?
yeah,
He's 45?
yeah.
Oh my God, the sex
Oh.
must be good.
By the time he's ready for his midlife crisis, she'll be.
So you're saying
that's a
this is
convenient
ideal.
setup. Yeah.
It's actually like
ideal.
a real, yeah.
So you stay in school.
Yeah.
You go to college.
Yeah.
For math.
Yeah, I did a double major in computer science and math. Yeah.
Now here's something from Proof that I feel like was they said that they acted like the math kids, like when all inspiration happens when you're young,
Right.
Or like that's when your brain is operating the best.
Yeah. That's a big thing in math culture is they like to say all good math is only done by real young mathematicians. Yeah.
But is it
By
is it
nubile teens. All good math is done by nubile teens.
But is it the same thing as like, I think with lots of fields, it's like, well, then you get more successful and then you got to give lectures. You don't have as much time to sit.
I mean, I think that's probably true. I think that's probably the reality of it is you have less free time as you age. Yeah.
You don't think your brain slows down?
Maybe when you're like 70 or 80,
Sure.
but yeah. No, I don't think your brain
I don't think
really-
Macron's wife is coming up with any new math theorems for sure.
She's coming up with all kinds of math that justify sleeping with all kinds of kids.
They also said they made it seem like this play made it seem like it was like young and like Adderall and drugs. And
Oh,
you
that
were
is actually
moving
true.
fast.
A lot of
Okay.
mathematicians took amphetamines. Let's say in the middle of the 20th century, this was very popular. It was taking amphetamines and all kinds of other drugs to do math. Yeah.
And was it just to do it even better, faster, stronger?
Probably the first two, maybe not the last one. Yeah, they just thought it fueled their creativity, but who knows if it really does, right? You know, a lot of people are like, "Oh, drugs help me fuel my comedy or whatever."
So it's like,
And
yeah, or music.
I think it helps you see it a different way.
Yeah,
I've never
sure.
taken Adderall. My fantasy, if I wasn't such a puss, is I would take Adderall. I go in a room with just a laptop with no Wi-Fi, and I'd finally write a screenplay. I'd like lock myself in, and I couldn't eat. I couldn't use the bathroom until I finished the screenplay. Just to finally get it done.
You'd have this fantasy, and then you'd take the drugs, you'd lock yourself in the bathroom, and you just turn out math proof after math proof.
Yeah.
Hey, that wouldn't be bad either. Did you ever get on the dope, the Addies,
No, I never.
A train,
The what train?
the A train?
Oh, is that Adderall?
Yeah.
No, I never took Adderall. No, or amphetamines or anything. I don't know. I just am skeptical of the idea it would actually make me more productive.
You ever do any drugs?
I mean, sure, for recreational purposes, sure. Yeah. Well, I've never done anything much. I mean, I've done the usual pot and whatever, but yeah.
Yeah, we're doing shrooms soon.
Oh my god, I gotta get my flight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just help me understand this world of what a mathematician's life looks like. You go to everyone gets a PhD. You got 2 degrees, computer science.
Oh, yeah. Well, my undergrad, yeah, I got computer science and math double major, yeah.
You doing comedy at all during this?
No, I wanted to. I was interested in comedy from, when I was a teenager or whatever. I always thought when I went to college, oh, I'll join an improv group or something and, I'll be doing comedy also. But I guess I just kind of got sidetracked in college and just ended up not doing anything except my studies. It's such a boring thing to say, but it wasn't until like at the very end of grad school that I got back into doing comedy. So not back into, but like pursuing the interest for the first time, really.
Did you have fantasies when you're an actor? We fantasized about not having to do podcasts and starring in movies.
Right.
When you're a young mathematician, do you have like it's Einstein, Gödel,
Yeah.
and me?
I don't quite understand what you're asking here.
What was your fantasy? Were you hoping to I'm going to solve something one day?
Oh, what's the aspiration? Yeah, sure, exactly. It's like you have this fantasy that you will come up with an insight, you'll solve a big open problem in math, and everybody will think you're a great genius or whatever.
Are there active open problems?
Oh, yeah, there's like a big list of, there's a lot of open problems, but one thing is there's this big list of 7 open problems. Now it's 6 because one was solved. But they had $1 million prizes attached to them. They came.
One was solved?
Yeah, one was solved.
Was there when?
This was probably like 15 years ago or something. They
Who
solved
pays
this
out the
one.
$1 million?
There's an institute called the Clay Millennium Institute, Clay Mathematics Institute. It was founded in 2000. I don't remember who. Like a billionaire, I think some billionaire whose name was Clay decided he was going to endow this fund.
And okay.
Yeah.
And but this is the problem. It gets so complicated. I could, in theory, say what was the problem, and you'd explain it, and we'd go, we have no idea.
Would he be able to explain it?
You want to know the one that was solved? Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
What is going to happen is you would be like, I don't fully understand. I just kind of understand. I'll give you the shape of the problem, like the gist of it.
It's a long line.
Well, it actually is a problem about shapes. Also, it's about topology. It's about.
Okay, I know what that means.
Okay, good.
Surfaces.
Yeah, sure, exactly. So, like, here's a simple kind of shape is like a circle, a sphere. You can imagine in any number of dimensions. Right? There's a 2-dimensional circle, a 3-dimensional sphere. There will be a 4-dimensional, 5-dimensional, 6-dimensional analog of, just like a round thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
right on the edge. About to lose it.
Yeah.
But I'm still there.
Also, I should say the name of this thing. It's called the Poincare. Actually, I don't know how to pronounce it exactly. Poincare conjecture, I think.
That's right.
And so the idea is if you are given some kind of shape, it might not exactly be a circle or a sphere or something, but it might be in some sense similar to it in that you could kind of bend it, squash it, etc., and make it into a circle without doing any ripping or gluing or something. So, for example, if you take a cube, you can kind of bend it, squash it into a sphere. You don't have to do any. You look like
No, that's what I do. I frequently I
Yeah.
see a cube
Yeah.
and I go like this and I make it a sphere.
Whereas if you have like a donut or something, there's nothing you can do to make it into a sphere because it's got a hole in the middle. You have to glue something together.
I'm following.
Okay.
I am.
Perfect. Okay. So this is the starting point of this thing. Suppose you want to
Fuck, I was hoping we're at the end. Shit.
Well, suppose you want to be able to
You think
tell.
you're going to solve it right now? He's going to explain it and you're going to have the answer?
It's been solved before.
Suppose you want to be able to tell when some random shape can be rearranged in this way into the correct analog of a circle or sphere for its number of dimensions. The conjecture was that if it satisfied certain simple properties that are okay, I'm calling them simple, but they're going to be too complicated for me to describe right now. But it's like you can do some kind of algebraic calculation with a shape, and you can get some certain numbers out of it. And if the shape happens to have the same numbers as a sphere, the conjecture was then it would actually be bendable into a sphere. I'm not doing a good description of the last part of this because it's going to be too complicated. But
Yeah.
yeah,
So, okay.
So, question.
Yeah.
In solving it,
yeah.
what impact does that have on the
Right.
world? Like, what do we use then? What does that inform?
So the guy who solved it, he was named Grigory Perelman. He's a reclusive Russian mathematician. In solving it, he developed a bunch of tools. I forget the name for it because it's outside of my area. I think he called it, I don't know. It doesn't matter. Some kind of surgery he developed. Oh, Ricci flow. That's something. But the names don't matter. The point is, the tools he developed will help people not only solve this problem, but understand lots of other things in math quickly and fluently. It's like if you developed calculus to solve one problem, well, not only did you solve that problem, now you have this tool that lets you do a million things really quickly. Engineers can do it. So I don't know directly applications of the topology that he built, but the idea is presumably down the line, people will have other things they're trying to do for whatever, I don't know, make an MRI machine work or something.
Got
I
it.
don't
So
know.
there's 6 open.
Yeah,
problems.
6 ones left now. Yeah.
And how many? Do you have any idea of like how many people across the world are?
Are you working
that?
on one?
Like,
Do you
are
look
you-
at
To
one?
be clear, most mathematicians are not working on these particular problems. They just happen to be.
No. But like as a
But
fun.
is money ever tight and you like go online and you're like, I think I could do
There
this
is one of them I think about from time to time. Sure,
Okay.
but I'm not going
Really?
to solve it. But it's fun to think, imagine. I might. Yeah, sure.
You think is it possible? One day you just go, oh my God.
Anything's possible. It's very unlikely. Sure.
Now, is this the kind of thing where?
yeah, go on.
So, okay, so you have this problem. Are you at a board, a whiteboard? Like if you were like going to tackle it, is
Yeah.
it something that you would need a whiteboard for?
Well,
Would you
This is
need
like
a
asking
computer?
someone who works in computers, like, when you hack into a system, are you like this?
it is kind of like
I wanna
asking
know-
that.
I want to know.
We want to know how
I wanna
accurate
know
the
in my-
movies
yeah,
are.
I want to know, like, is it like a Matt Damon, like,
Do you
like,
have a
on
whiteboard in your in your apartment?
Or
I do have a whiteboard in my apartment.
Okay.
But I only have it for one purpose, which is that you don't use a whiteboard when it's just you having thoughts by yourself. You use a whiteboard when you're trying to show something to somebody else,
so
right?
you use paper?
Yeah, you use paper. I use paper most of the time.
Yeah, it's not as exciting. The camera angle is
Yeah.
just a little.
Well, in movies, I don't know if you've ever noticed this, but in movies, mathematicians are always drawing on windows for some reason.
Yes.
To view their face
Yes.
through the equation.
Yeah.
No one in real life has ever drawn
Oh, you
math
should
equations
start.
on windows. Yeah.
Is it frustrating at all? Do you are you single or are you dating?
I have a girlfriend.
You have a girlfriend. Does she get math?
She is not a math person, really. Yeah, no. It's. I wish. I guess in a sense, yeah, I wish she was, but
Is it hard that if you're working on something, you're working on your thesis, and you have a good day or a bad day, you're stuck. You can't share any of
No.
it.
Well, I can share the gist of it in the high level. The way I'm talking about it right now, I can talk about it like that with her. But yeah, you can't get into the details, of course.
Pythagorean.
Did you say Pythagorean?
You mean Pythagoras?
Or Pythagorean or something?
Yeah, Pythagorean theorem. What was
Yeah,
that?
Pythagorean theorem. I thought you said Pythagorean.
I think I did.
Yeah, which is kind of like combining.
It's been a long time since
Yeah.
I've used that.
I felt
Pythagoras.
Pythagoras, he was an ancient Greek mathematician.
like you got there. You got there
coming back.
eventually.
Yeah.
Do you like?
I had a bad case of Pythagorea this morning.
So math? Do you also like science or?
No,
We're so stupid.
I hate science.
We're so
only
fucking
science.
stupid.
I mean, only math is good.
you hate science.
Hate
I mean, I'm
science.
playing it up. No, I don't hate science, but it's
Sorry,
true
we
that
don't mean to step on you comedically. Every time you say something, we're like, wait, really?
Yeah, I know.
100% you mean that?
you have to be. Is this a joke? Is this a joke? But it's true that I am not particularly interested in science the way a person who actually cares about science is. I really am interested in abstract stuff that you can just figure out in your head, whereas science, you have to go do experiments in the world and it's constrained by physical reality. I don't want to understand physical reality. I want to understand logic.
Cool.
I just do believe that, like, I'm someone that I share so much with my girlfriend who is in, like, she's a manager, but she understands comedy.
Right,
And I can
sure.
talk to her about almost any aspect
Right.
of what I'm working on. That it would be isolating to never be able to get into the weeds. Like, you'd have to find it, you'd have to have it elsewhere.
Yeah.
Some people, even people that aren't in the same field, can talk about their work to a degree.
It is troubling with math that perhaps more than other fields, it's so far apart from the ordinary person's experiences. Like if I was a physicist, let's say, if I was an astrophysicist, I could at least be like, oh, I'm talking about stars, and everyone will be like, yeah, I know what stars are.
Yeah.
But talking about math is hard because I'd be like, oh, I'm working with these abstract objects and be like, I have never heard of them or anything leading up to them, and it'll take you forever to explain what they are. So it's true. It's a little frustrating. I wish it weren't that way. But, my girlfriend has many other positive qualities. If she's listening to this, she's great.
If you're going out and, like, someone needs to do, like, easy math, does she
Yeah.
just go, you do it, you can do it faster?
What do you mean, like the
Like,
tip
if
on?
you're sure the tip.
Yeah, but see, that's like arithmetic. This is what I was trying to say is,
But is your arithmetic very good too?
I know this is the problem. I always try to say math has almost nothing to do with arithmetic just because I'm good at math. It's so foolish to say I'm good at arithmetic. But then it is, in fact, true that I'm better at arithmetic than most people. So, yeah.
Okay. Would you mind? Could you think of a multiplication of two-digit numbers and all three of us?
A multiplication.
Yeah.
Not just an addition.
I want to see how badly he beats us.
Okay.
12 times 24.
288.
No way. No
Well, 12
way.
times 12 is 144. so yeah.
exactly.
Damn.
Yeah, it's an easy one.
Yeah. Can you do 3 digits?
I mean, I'm not going to be super fast or anything.
3. Yeah, do 3 digits. Have 3 digits. We can't even do it, but go for it. Yes.
Oh my
I'm
God.
going to fall flat on my face
okay,
here.
1 3-digit and 1 2-digit.
Jesus.
What is this proving? What is this? Who's this for?
Take over the podcast.
Is this
Let's-
for our
let's do
audience?
something else.
Should they?
Wait, this one line.
This is completely a sham. Makes a mockery of mathematics.
134 times 57.
I don't want to do this. 134 times 57.
I need paper.
No. 134 times 57. 134 times 57. 534. 4 times 5.
Do we have to do this?
Okay. None of us could do it.
Is it 6,500 something?
You said something?
65,000? I don't know.
All right. Well, we reached our limits.
Yeah.
Listen, we need, how Neil deGrasse Tyson or Bill Nye the Science Guy
Yeah.
have done a very good job, or their life's mission seems to be
Yeah, is there a
making
math
science
person?
accessible.
Sure.
And it sounds like I
Fucking
try,
hate
and
Neil
you go,
deGrasse
this is
Tyson.
a mockery of the art of mathematics.
I
You're
hate
talking
Neil
about
deGrasse
doing
Tyson, by the way. I hate him.
No one likes Neil
No one
deGrasse
likes
Tyson.
him.
He also, speaking of,
I know.
Me too, or
yeah.
yeah.
This Google.
No, I was only saying doing arithmetic problems on command makes a mockery of math. I'm all for making math accessible. I used to have a job. I made pop math videos on YouTube for a living for a while. Yeah.
Really, for like a company?
Yeah, for an extremely popular YouTube channel called 3 Blue 1 Brown. Of course, if you don't watch math videos on YouTube, you wouldn't have heard of it. But it's this guy who has like 7 million subscribers, and they like his math explanations. And he brought me on at some point to help him making his videos.
Is there an aspect of mathematics that you're like, society should know this? Or like, basically most of us, as we've discussed, we get to algebra and division, and
Right.
that's kind of, we learn some other stuff in school, but I forget all of trigonometry. I forget all of calculus. I never got my head around calculus. I understand graphs, kind of.
Oh, okay. Well, no, I am a little different than a lot of people assume mathematicians are. I mean, than a lot of mathematicians actually are. I don't care if the general public is interested in math, learns most math. Like, it would be nice, if they understood accurately what math is about, but also I recognize there's so many things I'm not interested in. I just said I don't care that much about science. Everyone should be free to pursue their own interests, So I think it would be nice if people learned about the kinds of math that are off the standard curricular path. Like, people only get shown stuff that's basically about numbers and kinds of arithmetic manipulations of numbers. Even calculus, it's just about like doing things with numbers. And they don't ever get shown that so much of math is just about abstract logic that has nothing to do with numbers. I think it would be great if they were exposed to that. But it doesn't bother me really that they aren't or don't care, or I don't know. Everybody's got their own interests.
So when people make the connection between comedy and math,
Yes.
I've always hated what's Penn and Teller. Is Penn the one that talks?
Yes.
Penn. He like loves going like, comedy is like jazz, and it makes me want to throw up. As someone who doesn't care about jazz,
That's right.
and also I find the comparison completely false.
Sure.
There's this whole thing about like, I barely understand jazz to understand what's being said, but it's just like this idea of like the comedian's like a jazz artist up there,
They're improvising.
and going around, and I'm like, I don't think you know what comedy is,
Right.
and I think
Or jazz.
or jazz, and certainly it's like, I think it would be if I had the ego to talk about like what magic is. It's like I don't really know.
Right.
I've done some magic. I don't
Oh,
know.
have you?
Yeah.
Well, I want to hear about the magic you've done.
I mean, very little. I went to a summer camp, and it was like a theater camp, but they were like two, like, I think real magicians, at least what it was to my mind. They toured around the world.
Okay.
And it was like they just showed us some stuff, some secret stuff, and then they wouldn't show us how to do other tricks.
Okay.
And so I came back, I got 2 Tarbell books, which is
Okay.
like Tarbell, that's like the classic 1 through 8. And we've had some magicians on here, so I like magic.
Okay.
You like magic?
I actually do. I know it's like considered corny, and it is corny, but I don't know. There's something fun about it. I've watched that Penn and Teller show sometimes. What is it?
Fool me, trick me?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You see that one?
I'm not.
I'd love to have Penn on, or the other guy.
Hey.
I
heard
don't
they're
think
not
Teller would be a
friends.
great podcast guest.
I think he talks in real life.
I know.
I think he
just
talks about
joking.
shit. But
You stepped on my joke again.
Damn.
So what I was saying is comedy and math gets compared a lot.
Yeah.
Is there?
Nice comedy comes in threes. People love to say that.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
can you
yeah.
come up with a second example?
Yeah.
And maybe a third to twist it out.
Yeah.
Is there anything
I
to
do
this?
think there's a connection, even though, of course, most mathematicians aren't funny. I'm the only funny mathematician.
Matthew
and-
Broussard, he likes math.
Is he a mathematician?
He reads math books.
Okay, so that's a different thing.
Sammy
That's
Obeid
like
and Matthew
saying-
Broussard.
That's like saying though that I think if you are a mathematician,
Come up with an example. That's like
okay.
saying what?
I'm trying to think of a.
It's like saying you're a magician because you have 2 Tarbell books.
There you
Summer
go.
camp.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
But I was going to say, even though most mathematicians aren't funny, and probably 99% of comedians don't know any advanced math, I do think there is a connection in that the kind of comedy I like is about playing with logic, and that is also what math is about. It's like you say, suppose I take these premises and I try and see where they lead me, twist it, go in a funny direction with it, but play it out logically. Does that make any sense what I'm saying? It's like, what if A, then B. You know that fucking UCB motto. I actually think there's some legitimacy to that as a way of thinking about comedy. You're trying to see if I start from here and I give myself this game, these rules, where can I have it take me?
I guess so. Maybe there's something in the spirit of it, but again, when you're talking about comedy, per the rule of threes example, it's like the most basic. It's
I'm not saying you're gonna sit down and like do some trigonometry or something to figure out a joke.
There's no list of 7 premises that have never found a punchline, and if you solve it, you get $1 million.
No, but I'm saying
Wouldn't that be fun though if it was like a priest and rabbi and a walk in a bar, and it's like who's gonna figure it out?
Yeah, that would be great. No, I don't mean that, but I just mean the muscles that you sharpen in doing math and the muscles that you sharpen in doing comedy, I think can be the same muscles of trying to find, you're working with something abstract, you're trying to find a funny, unusual, interesting way of looking at it.
And you're testing it out, you're trying different ways of doing it, and you're coming up with like what's the most streamlined like good version. You know what I mean? Like there is something in like you're saying of like I think I see.
I think comedy is more like math than it is like jazz. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
I wouldn't draw.
I like that. I like that. Okay.
Okay.
Cool. Take that pen.
It's not like science.
Yeah.
No.
Well, I guess you're experimenting.
There is the thing that it is always odd to me that you can't just like at home. It's always bothered me that you can't figure out if a thing is funny or not until you take it to an audience to get their reaction. It's so weird to me, that empirical aspect of comedy, that it seems to be true. Like you'll think a joke is so good, you'll do it, people won't go for it. You'll think another joke isn't that great, it gets a great response. Well, why? Like, why can't I judge a joke? You know, my brain is no worse than the audience's brain, but somehow I can't always
Yeah, but I think it's probably like trying to figure out the economy or traffic, where you're dealing with all these different factors that your brain can't comprehend of how it will. Because a joke doesn't work for everybody per se.
No, you're right.
So like,
right, yeah.
So what are you going to do with the comedy aspect of your life, or is math? Well,
yeah.
What's going on? Did you just write your thesis?
Yeah, I just finished my PhD last summer that I had originally abandoned 10 years ago, and then
Oh my God.
Yeah, exactly. So I had gone to grad school. I've been working on this PhD for 7 years, and then I got disenchanted. I abandoned it, and
was it like fuck? I did you get your PhD, or abandoning it? You abandoned the PhD.
Well, if I'd gotten it, I wouldn't have come back last summer to do it.
Was it? Were you heartbroken? Were you sad? Were you like?
I was
fuck?
I was very sad. Like my image of myself was kind of wrapped up in the idea that this, is my career path.
Back to that little boy at recess.
Exactly.
You were found out.
Yeah. I had to write my old teacher and be like, "You were correct. I will never learn to color in the monkey." And
wow.
Yeah.
Now, don't ask, did you actually contact that teacher? Because that would be stepping on the joke. So
I actually did contact that teacher. You stepped on my poignant
Oh
memory.
my God.
and then so then one day, you're walking around, you're like, wait a second, maybe that, and then you
That basically is kind of what happened during COVID. I was just I had nothing to do with a lot of my time. I was just cooped up at home. And
we were busy traveling.
What's that?
We were busy traveling.
Yeah. Were you really traveling? Really? But I was in actually a Twitter like math chat, and I mentioned like this abandoned dissertation of mine, and this woman was curious to read like the tiny bit that I had gotten written from like 10 years ago. So I showed it to her, and she asked me a question, and she was like, what if I don't understand this part. Could you frame this part a little differently? And then I was trying to answer her question, and I had a realization, like something I had never realized 10 years ago.
And you ran to the window.
Yeah.
And you started writing furiously.
Something like that. There was no window involved, but yeah, I just sat down and I like banged out like suddenly 30 new pages of how to get the start of this dissertation written. And
That's so exciting.
yeah, exactly. And then that led to my finally being able to write it.
Okay,
Yeah.
Before then, like when you had abandoned it,
Yeah.
were you like doing math as a hobby? Like, were I'm sure you were following up with new developments and new things happening in the world.
You're saying in the period after I left grad school.
Yeah, were you doing anything?
I was still thinking about math like all the time, sure. Like I would still read math papers and so on.
Yeah.
Every now and then I'd say maybe I'll finish my dissertation, and then I'd give it a shot, and I'd hit like this same stumbling block that I always hit, where I just couldn't. It's not that I didn't have it worked out. I had gotten results when I was in grad school, and I just couldn't figure out the right way to present them cleanly where other people would be able to grasp what I was talking about. And every time I tried to write it, I would get hung up on this one thing that I could not write cleanly. And so I stopped thinking about my dissertation for like 10 years, except these like abortive attempts every now and then. But I would just still read other math papers, try and keep my senses sharp, I guess.
And so now that this is done, like walk us through what it means when you finish a thesis. Do you presented it to your old professor?
Right. So generally you will have to do a defense, which is, so I got in contact with my old advisor, but my old advisor is literally an old advisor. He's like 90-something now.
How old were they when you first started dating?
He was 40, I was 15.
Hey, that works.
Yeah. But
When you contacted him, was he like, he's like, oh.
He was like, I'm about to die now. You have to find somebody else to work with. No, he was happy to hear from me, but he had become sort of genuinely retired basically after COVID. So he wasn't able to read it in detail like I was hoping would happen. So that put me in a bind where if I'm going to actually file this, of course, I have to have some professor in my area read it in detail and, ascertain it's correct. So I got in touch with another big name in my field, just sort of out of the blue. And I was like, I need someone to help me finish this PhD that I ran 10 years ago. And very graciously, this guy agreed. And he, I'm saying this in too much detail, but he read my dissertation in painstaking detail. He gave me all kinds of suggestions. It was so heartwarming that this guy was like a huge name in the field bothered to do that. And then you have to set up a talk that you give. So that's the defense. You have to convene like a panel of professors from your university, and you give this like hour-long talk, and then they quiz you, like they ask you questions about your dissertation, and then they decide whether to pass you or not.
So you go all the way back to your this is graduate, which was Berkeley?
Yeah, this was Berkeley.
And you just contacted them and you're like, it's been 10 years, convene the panel?
It was kind of like that. Well, I first got in touch with my old advisor, and I knew basically that he's like a super big name in the field. So I knew if he said to the administration that he wanted them to help me finish it, then they would find a way to make it work. And actually, there was all kinds of bureaucratic complications because none of them are interesting, but it's like technically there's a thing called achieving candidacy, which I had done back when I was in grad school, but that status lapses, after 10 years.
Sure.
And
I still love me going back to musical theater college and be like, I'm ready to sing.
I'm ready.
Sondheim's Not a Day Goes By.
right.
Convene the voice teachers.
So I had to get all kinds of special exceptions to reinstate my candidacy. And also, while you're in grad school, you take these things called qualifying exams that prove that you're aware of your field in general. And I had to retake those because those had lapsed. So there's all this like red tape stuff. But basically, because my old advisor leaned on them to make it happen, they made all the things happen. And
You did a presentation for these people.
I did a presentation for these
How
people.
long is it? You're reading your thesis? You're summarizing
it's like
it?
you put together like slides, like a PowerPoint or something.
You have to. It has to be you have to speak at the presentation.
Yes.
I'm sure some of these are. I mean, you're a very charismatic mathematician.
Thank you.
But I'm sure that's not the. I imagine some of these mathematicians
Pull it off.
are mumbling into the mic.
Uh-huh.
I imagine some of these presentations are tough.
They are tough. Yeah.
Slides flashy, colorful, or
No,
Animations.
I thought about it. I thought about having every letter appear one at a time with a little typewriter sound. But
I mean, PowerPoint's I just think about how much of my middle school was making PowerPoints.
Yeah.
Did you have any comedy? Anything funny in there at all?
No, I always kept comedy and math very. Even though I just said a second ago, I think they're related. I never put any comedy into a thing like that. No, I don't think this panel of professors. They're not going to appreciate my jokes about Orthodox Jews. But
And then at the end, you do a presentation. They question you. They challenge you.
yeah, they kind of challenge you. Exactly. It's called a defense. Like there's this idea that they are attacking your knowledge, and you have to defend it.
Do you get heated?
There is a thing that happened. I hope they're not listening to this.
Sure, you they're not.
Yeah, I know. There's a funny story about what happened, which is that you invite like your friends also to watch your dissertation.
My God. Oh my God.
Yeah.
How long?
Oh,
How long
God,
is
that's
it-
worse than
how
having an
long is it?
improv friend
that's-
inviting you
that's
to
not
their
worse than a bringer show.
101
Well, your
class.
math friends. I mean, I wouldn't invite a fucking.
how
If
long
it was
is
a
it?
bringer defense, and
Yeah,
you had to
yeah.
bring 15 people to sit through.
Right. What were you about to
How
ask?
long is how long would this presentation
The
be?
presentation itself was like an hour, and then there's the questioning part, which I probably another, I don't know, 40 minutes or something. I
Okay.
forget, but you know, all my old friends from grad school and stuff, I brought them to watch it. But also, as I was just saying, there was that woman from the group chat who had sparked this whole thing. I invited her to watch the defense. But when I was doing the defense, it was over Zoom.
Okay.
I didn't fly back to Berkeley. I did it over Zoom. And I had never actually met the professor who read my dissertation in detail, because I also only contacted him via email. I never met him in person.
Yeah.
And during my presentation, during the defense, I started getting like questions during the presentation, and I was responding to them. But I was a little distressed by these questions, because I thought, oh, this professor, he had read my dissertation in such detail, I thought, but now he's asking these questions that show some confusion over points that I thought he would have picked up on by now, and they're a little bit aggressive, these questions sometimes too, and I didn't think that would happen until after the presentation.
Yeah.
So I'm getting a little upset internally. I'm getting a little thrown off my game, and I'm about to say something like let's save these for the end, something, I don't know, but I just plowed through, and I decided at some point, oh, what's actually happening is he's purposely asking me these questions even though he knows the answer, because he's trying to guide me through giving a better presentation or something. That's what I decide. And then we get to the Q&A session, and my professor asks me a question, and I respond by saying something that was like directly from my thesis that he had already read.
Yeah.
And he says to me, yes, I know that because I read your dissertation. I was hoping you would tell me something else with this question. I was trying to get at something else.
Okay,
And I'm very apologetic. I'm like, oh, sorry. And I try and say something else and whatever. And it all works out fine. Eventually, they go away, and I'm just kind of talking to my friends, waiting for them to come back and tell me whether I passed or not.
Publicly on the Zoom?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. They.
This is so years in the making.
They convene and then they make a real time decision.
Yeah. Exactly.
For how long? How long do they convene for?
I forget. It was probably like 15 minutes, but it felt
Oh my God.
forever. You know.
Yeah.
Then they come back and they tell me you passed, and I'm so relieved because I was like, what the hell was going on earlier with these questions? And then I go to this like celebratory dinner in New York with a bunch of my like math grad school friends that live here. And they say to me, what was going on with that woman asking you questions during the presentation? I'm like, what? I thought that was my professor asking me questions during the presentation. It wasn't my professor. It was the woman from the Twitter group chat I invited.
Oh.
She didn't realize the convention that nobody talks during the presentation except the panel of professors.
Oh
And she had just been asking me all these questions. I had no idea because I'd never heard anybody's voices before.
Yeah.
And it's a great thing that I did not be like, listen, Professor Schulman, blah, 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 or something,
Yeah.
or give the game away at any point. but it could have been a disaster. But
Kind of crazy the panel didn't say,
I know.
"Hey,
Yeah, exactly.
listen, lady," like
It'd be more poetic if you did not pass because she's the one who cracked it open for you in the first place.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's like
I'm glad that you were able to explain that whole thing in detail because I feel like it would be really hard to with non-math people
Right.
explain how big of a deal this thing
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
and be like, "Oh, it's a big deal. It's a celebratory." Like it's a very complicated thing. It must be hard in life to like because we feel this sometimes with non-actors. You can feel like something happens and it's like hard to label it or describe it to someone if it's not like, "Hey, I got this movie" or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's sometimes hard, and that this I feel like is a really good example of like be really difficult to explain to people like what it is, and
Right.
what that.
this is like if we
what it
made a
means.
movie of this scene, it's like, there's little lines about what the thesis is, but no one cares. But it's
Right,
more
yeah,
about
yeah.
the woman being like, "But wait a second, I had a question about this."
Yeah,
And you sweat
Yeah.
and
the aggressive thing. I know.
you
I
see
read
the
your
ring
thing.
light in your face and it's making you and what happens if you didn't get it? Would you have to like wait a year to submit again?
No. I mean, there's like you would have to completely do a new thesis or something. Like I've never heard of.
You couldn't like object and say this panel was biased. I'm going to go over here, do it in this country.
I've never heard of any such thing happening. Yeah.
Oh,
But what happens is they do try to have a sense before the defense of whether they think there's any risk of that happening, and they'll try and dissuade you from scheduling the defense if they
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you did it.
I did do it.
Right.
You felt good.
I felt great. It was such a relief because this thing had been, I had given up on being an academic mathematician, but it had been weighing on me still. Like, oh, I was so close. I wish I had done that. Yeah.
So what are you now?
Well, see, that's the thing. I'm still not working in a university. Like, I've given up on that career path because even if I wanted to, I don't know. There's just so many negatives to that career path. You don't have any choice over where you live.
Sure.
So I don't. At my age, I don't want to be moving to the middle of the country for a postdoc and then 2 years later moving to another nowhere's place. And I want to be doing comedy, so I need to live in a city that has a comedy scene and stuff also. So it's just not going to work. So, well, right now I'm unemployed, but I think the next job I get is probably going to be a tech industry job, like my last job, even before I finish this thing. So I don't think it's going to affect my career that much, but it's just like a personal closure thing.
Good for you.
Yeah.
that's great.
Let's go into our next segment. This has got to stop.
This has gotta stop.
This has got to stop. This is for all the new listeners today, all the math folks out there. This is where we say something that's got to stop. Big, small, personal, broad. Russell, this has got to stop.
Wait, I gotta pull it up.
Okay.
You go.
I will go first. This has got to stop. Oh, you know what? I thought I'd say some little stand-up things that are bothering me
Okay.
recently.
Go
Some
on.
like little tropes that I hear a lot of people do. And I'm not saying I'm always innocent of these. You make a joke about yourself, the audiences laugh, you go, you guys laughed a little too hard at that.
Right.
Yeah.
I hate it. You made a joke. We all can tell. Sometimes though, when things are hacky, you go, well, you know what? It seems to be working. And it's just for us on the inside that knows that this is overdone.
Yeah.
Well, that's
for
the
the
thing is,
regular
as a
person.
comedian, you have a sense, you've watched so much comedy, you have a sense of what's overdone. As an audience, it's just like, oh, this is fresh to me because you don't watch that much.
Well, that's why I think comedy's broken right now, because everyone's pulling everyone up, everyone wants to do everyone's podcast, no one's being mean to each other. That we've lost, I think, all like artistic systems. Yeah, outside is not going to understand fully what's hacky. Outside's not
Right.
going to fully have respect for the art form. But part of ecosystems is internally you bully each other, you create standards that you have to meet, and that keeps the art form progressing. And I think that has broken in stand-up comedy. So there's a lot of people at the top that are like hacky as fuck. And there's the same way that like Carlos Mencia, he didn't get called out for stealing jokes outside of in the regular world. He got called internally.
Right.
And that eventually trickled on to, and it was a cleaning of the system, And I feel like we've really lost that. That's my theory on stand-up comedy. This one I'm sure I'm guilty of, because sometimes you do have to say it, but you go, so I'm single. So I'm in therapy.
Yeah.
But sometimes you do need to talk about your therapist. You got your therapy joke, which you can have a good therapy joke, and you got to say it.
Yeah.
So I feel a little more sympathetic to that.
You've written little disclaimers after everything that has to stop, and you're like, this doesn't really have to stop.
Yeah, no, they're too hard to laugh.
Well, there's a way
It's
too.
the
There's
too
a
hard
way
laugh.
too of like, so I'm single. It feels very like
Yes.
you want to laugh there rather than being like I'm single and then going into something. You know, it does feel like
Yeah.
those are two different things.
Yeah. Yes, that's true. Okay, then my third stand-up thing, this is the last one, and this one I feel 100%.
Okay.
Is actually there's two more. There's and I used to do this in the beginning where you was like, and then this person was like, get a job, you fucking loser. And I was like, well, mom.
Oh,
Reveal.
okay,
The
okay,
reveal.
The reveal of the
yeah,
speaker.
Yeah.
Which listen, sometimes reveals can be fun,
Yeah.
but that one's been overdone.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is one where I used to have it in joke where you go, you set up, you do the joke, and then my girlfriend was like, well, you get a job, loser. I'm just kidding. I don't have a girlfriend. And I will say, early on, I had like a joke. There was a good joke in the second tag was that. And I had to talk about internal. There was an older comedian, and he saw me do it at a show where it killed. And he said, you're better than that. And I never, ever, ever, ever did it again. And we have lost that. We have lost Chappelle saying to Matt Rife, you're better than that. He just goes, hey, do the show anytime.
Yeah.
Because we all know it increases all of our money all around. It's not good. And that's why stand-up's in a bad place publicly. So I'm in therapy. This got to stop?
Yeah. Okay. So
You laughed too hard at that.
every 2 or 3 months on Twitter, this clip goes around. Tobey Maguire in Spider-Man.
Do you know this
Is it
clip?
the one where he's catching
Catching
the
that
stuff
tray.
on the tray?
Catching
Yeah.
the
You
tray.
know that's actually not CGI.
Shut.
I know all the discourse
did it.
about this fucking
Shut
clip,
the
of
fuck up.
course.
Don't tell me that's.
It was a lot of takes too.
Listen, I'm sick of seeing it. I'm sick of finding out about it. I'm sick of it being like, did you know that they did this in 156 takes? It took 16 hours. It took 16. If anything should be CGI, it was that dumb 2-second clip to make a whole crew, all those extras, everyone sit there for 16 hours to get that dumb little thing.
Yeah.
They can be fake milk cartons. I want real sets. I want real prosthetics. I don't care if a 2-second clip is CGI'd. The fact that some people went home from that set that day and they saw the loved ones, probably nurses, and they were like, what did you do today? And they're like, I watched 7 people die. And I saw 8 babies burn into the world. What did you do? I filmed that dumb fucking clip for 16 hours.
I watched an actor who's never caught anything in his
Anything.
life have to
Catch
catch
everything.
5 things in a row on a tray.
I don't want to hear about that clip anymore.
Oh.
Don't share it. I'm sick of seeing it. It's not impressive to me.
Also, everybody is surprised that it's not CGI, which means it just looks like the CGI would look.
I know. That's the thing. It's sped up. It's like. So, anyways, stop sharing that clip. I'm sick of seeing it. I'm sick of hearing about it. I just think about those poor people on that set that day who had a horrible day having to do that. And I don't think. Was it worth it? Was it worth it? I don't know. I think they could have focused more time in probably other parts of the movie, making me make it a little better than that. Spending 16 hours on that.
How do you feel about the movie in general?
I don't give a shit. I don't remember the
He
movie in
doesn't like
general.
superheroes. This is not
okay,
a fair critique at all.
No, but I'm not mad. I don't remember. I probably saw it in theaters when it came out, but I don't even remember to spend all the thing being like, wow. You know what I mean? It's just a dumb trick.
If I'm being truthful, there's something. Listen, I agree the video needs to stop being shared. But I when they go, that's practical effects as opposed to CGI. I go, that's nice.
I like it too, but I would it would be great if then they applied that to everything. I'm sick of seeing game show game every Marvel movie feels like a video game to me. I build real sets. I love that. That would be cool.
Sure.
But that I feel like for this thing, why not just CGI that?
The thing is also, it would be cool if somehow they could film it and just waste Tobey Maguire's time. Like, I agree with you. Like, they're wasting the whole crew's time.
You know, the crew's paid. This is part of the thing. If the crew isn't doing this, what are they doing? Making
right.
Spider-Man?
I don't know, getting a couple
While
hours
their nurse
extra sleep
husbands
that
and wives
day?
save lives.
It's true that you've completely brought me over to the other side. It's not that the crew is so excited to film one thing versus another. You're right, but
I bet it was boring for everyone. I don't think anyone was having fun that day.
I want to hear a
don't think they were
documentary
like,
from that
"Whoa,"
whole crew.
You know?
Like a whole...
I mean, I'm sure they got excited when it actually happened.
maybe
probably.
they're actually excited because it's like if you're filming just the same fucking scene all day, you don't have to keep changing the lighting and this and that. Maybe it's an easy day for them.
Listen, I just don't. I don't. It's not even the clips. It's no one's fault. It's just been shared too much. We all know now. Everyone knows.
Yeah.
Everyone knoes it. Anyways,
That's a good one. I mean, but also there's a problem right now with all of the social media ecosystem and Twitter especially, where there's
evergreen.
these echoing accounts
Yes.
that do the whatever the viral video was from 3 days ago.
The thing is, this is exactly like the comedy thing. It's like, oh, if you spend a lot of time online, you get to know what's been done before. But then
Sure.
there's all these people. I don't know what do they call them, locals or something? People who just don't spend as much time online, and then they don't recognize what's been done before.
In 6 months, my mom will be like, I saw this crazy thing on the internet. You know that scene from Spider-Man?
Yeah, exactly.
94 takes.
no 156. I know it.
Oh, wait, you really know the number?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you have a This Has Got to Stop?
I had one about New Jersey.
Uh-huh.
No, I had a bunch of alternates. You want me to do another one?
Sure.
A thing that I think has got to stop, although this has also been discussed before in a sense, but right now I'm job hunting, right? So it's like every job interview, you got to pretend, they make you a dance about your passion for the job or whatever. And I'm like, I don't care. I don't know why you want me to do this. Like, I'm gonna be a programmer. I'm gonna write code for you, whatever. Do you need me to pretend that my life is about programming? So that's got to stop. And also, I don't think my job should get to know my real name. I think I should get to use a fake name at work and my real name online, on Twitter, in comedy, whatever. It's bizarre to me that the place where I have to use my real name is the thing that's not the real me. It's just the thing I do for a living for money. And then in my real life, when I say my real opinions and stuff, if I don't want my boss to look it up and get annoyed at some joke I make or something, I got to use a fake name.
This
for that.
revolutionary. You want a full... this is a big systematic change. You want all jobs to have fake identities for their employees.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So you can,
Say your real
retweet whatever shit you want
Yeah.
online.
Exactly.
Interesting.
I mean, don't you think your real life? I know your job.
But per the internet, for
Yeah.
example, when you don't have to represent who you are and be tied to it, you become less
they'll
less
fire you
caring about the
there.
consequences of your
But
behavior.
they'll fire you there.
Sure.
If you're email trolling your coworkers, they'll still know that you work there.
Well, I'm
and
saying
fire
like
you.
you could do a terrible job. You could be the worst employee ever,
Oh,
and
I
no one
see.
would ever be able to like spread the word that you suck.
Oh well, I'm not
Well,
trying.
there's like a code,
I'm not trying to be like a racist at work or something.
No. I just mean even bad. I just mean even bad or
Oh,
racist.
it's just like a bad employee
or anything.
I would have, let's say,
I'm sure a lot of people in the Me Too movement were like, "I wish I didn't
You
give
could
them
have a
my
work
real
name, a
name."
work
yeah, you have a work name that you
identity
carry
that
from
follows
work to
you.
work. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
If like anybody wanted my references on my resume, I'd use the same name, but it just wouldn't be the. I guess I'm describing Severance or something.
Yeah.
So I'm
That is what you're describing.
yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about it that way. But,
If I could just not think about
Yeah.
anything else when I'm at work, and then
but I'm not saying my brain should be decoupled.
Yeah,
I'm saying
yeah.
my boss should not get to. For example, we were talking about politics and like Gaza earlier, right?
Uh-huh.
There are all these people in my industry that do not like, people who speak out against the treatment of the Gazans. And so
yeah,
I'm worried if they see what I've posted online. Isn't that insane that my boss...
Of course.
Yeah.
yes.
So instead, I should have like a fake account that I give to work, and all it does is like post kitten photos or something, and they'd be like, "Oh, okay, this guy is a good worker," and then I go to use my real name for real things.
All right. That's good. I like it. Let's go into our final segment.
You better count your blessings.
You better count your blessings. Fun episode. We learned. We got smarter. Do you have a blessing?
Yeah, sure. Well, all right. I don't have a recent one. It's like 6 months old. I haven't
That's
had
fine
anything
with
to be
us.
grateful
Great.
for in the last 6 months. But 6 months ago, I finished my PhD, and I am very grateful that this professor stepped in and read my dissertation in detail. And he didn't know me in person or anything, but he just really stepped up and helped me with that. I feel very grateful for that.
Do you do you print out a copy and keep it framed? Do you?
Of my dissertation?
Yeah. Do you have
Keep,
it
like,
anywhere?
130 pages framed on the wall.
That'd be very good. That'd be a cool room.
Yeah.
With every
Oh, just
single
like
thing.
a wall. Yeah, like a whole
I
thing.
think it's pretty.
A gallery wall.
Did you get your PhD? Do you get a degree now?
You mean like a diploma? Yeah, I do get a diploma. Yeah.
Do you frame it?
No, what do I care about framing it? It's like a doctor's office or something. You would.
See.
Well, I don't.
Remember, I had a whole thing about that. When people
Oh, yeah,
frame
yeah,
their-
yeah.
yeah. When
Yeah.
they're not like in a doctor's office.
Sure. All right, that's a beautiful blessing.
Yeah.
What's the title of your thesis?
Its title doesn't mean anything to even a mathematician to hear. It's just the names of the concepts I came up with in the dissertation. So it's called Introspective Theories and Geminal Categories.
All right, we're going to put a link to that in the comments. Check it out. Russell, do you have a blessing?
Yeah. I'll probably have more to say in the next time we talk. But
you can say it yet? February 6th.
No, I can't. Well, Gutenberg's ending, so I feel like I've been kind of struggling this week in terms of like mentally. Anytime there's like a big life kind of change, I get a lot of anxiety about that. But I'm very thankful and grateful. It's been an amazing experience. Obviously, there's the fear of like maybe this is just the nicest thing that ever happened and that's it. But I've been very grateful and thankful to have been a part of it.
After understudying in Gutenberg, that was the peak of Russell's.
Well, it might be. It might be.
Sure.
Stranger things have happened in this sad biz. But so anyways, I've loved it and everyone was so kind and generous and supportive and I'm very grateful to have been a part of it.
And now that's done, can I message the leads and ask them to come on the pod?
No.
I can?
I don't think no.
Can I message the director?
No. No.
They do podcasts.
I don't know. I would feel
What's your theory exactly with podcasts? Let everyone else ask them to do their podcast, but you know them, so no, absolutely not. For the podcast, we want to grow.
Well, you saw how I did it the last show I was in. I waited till it was done for a while, and then I was like, okay, let's bring them on now. When I'm like, but I would never. One of them doesn't live here. The other one is not going to be around because he's doing something else to film and movie.
Do I have to meet them in a different context in order to ask?
No, but I mean, like, it would be. It's not even something that I would feel like. We can talk offline about it.
Oh God.
No, great. I mean, it's sad. If you ever work with Russell, that means you can't do the podcast. That's unfortunate. What a real twisted fucking system we've made here. My blessing. I've said it before. Liam Nelson, who opens for me on the road. I went with Liam and his good buddy and business partner Ty Colgate. They opened for me together. They're buds. They're both younger. It's a fun dynamic. I will go out. I'll pay for the meal. I kind of feel like I kind of get some dads. I feel like a dad in a little ways. But then other ways we go do fun stuff. And then we were at this children's theater. We were headlining a show, and there were all these props backstage. And I'm such a little goody two shoes. I'm like, oh, wouldn't it be funny if I brought a prop on stage? Did something.
Yeah.
And I'm always like, no, never. And then there's a little bike there, and Liam's 7 feet tall, and I thought it'd be funny for him to go on the bike. And they were both like, oh, we'll do it. And I was like, no. And they're like, we will do it. And it was like enough positive reinforcement. And it was just a little thing at the end. Didn't really make sense. Audience was very confused, ruined the show. But it was very.
You got a little laugh for yourself.
You got a little laugh,
Yeah.
and it felt good. And I felt like okay, good. I'm playing. I'm having fun.
Yeah.
And so I'm very grateful. Sometimes I just like a 2-person show, but having 2 people there, it just felt good.
Yeah.
So Ty Colgate, Liam Nelson, follow him online. And this is coming out February 6th. Anything you want to plug?
No, nothing.
Nothing.
I don't know. Somebody needs
Twitter.
Okay, yeah, you're right. I should plug my Twitter. My Twitter account at Radish Harmers. You can find my jokes and whatnot there.
It's very good jokes. I enjoy them a great deal. So check it out, Russell.
at Russell J. Daniels on Instagram. Follow me there. Some announcements coming soon.
Very soon. Very exciting announcements. I'm in Sacramento this weekend. Maybe tickets are still available. I'll be at West Nyack in New York, February 15th. That's what they want for Valentine's Day. Buy them tickets. And Albany, February 18th. And then remember, we got a live podcast March 14th.
LA, we're coming for you,
We're
baby.
coming Downside Live. The guest is not locked in yet, but I could tell you a very exciting list of people who have passed. But they said... And Deborah... We know you're watching. We know you're listening.
No, we can't.
We'll have you on. We'll have you on.
What are we going to talk about?
Not Israel. That's for damn sure. This is The Downside.
You're listening to The Downside
The Downside.
with Gianmarco Soresi.
Tell him, Russell.
Subscribe to The Downside right now.
Where?
Down here. Or here. We don't know, but just do it.
Or also, what else could they do?
They could follow the Patreon. They could subscribe to the Patreon.
I
No! Sorry.
Patreon.com/downside.
Too much pressure.